You can see everybody keen. They've been told to go slow, but that won't make any difference. And a lot of people bunching over towards the inside.
That's right. Miko's Dream, as we saw, jump out there quick with last year's winner, Bobby Joe. The horse we want to watch is the horse in blue in the middle, Trinitro, the Norwegian Raider. He takes too much of a pull, takes on the fence too much and thinks it's too soft, and his race is over at the first. There's the other faller at the first is Royal Pradika. He also goes.
That's Peter Deal's colours. He's 6-year-old having his first run. And you can see Trinitro, look, in the blue there, really pulling very hard for his head. He's in the very centre of the field, and this skew is a typical first fence fall.
Yeah, all credit to Robert Bellamy. He's trying to ease the horse back. You see there, he's trying to ease him back, but he has to let him run at the fence there, and he just meets it on too long a stride, and he's going too fast, and his momentum takes him over.
And Miko's Dream falls on the inside. He was going right down the inside there. Take another look from the landing side. You'll see Trinitro come over first, Miko's Dream on the far side. Typical. It looked like Art Prince went there.
Yes, Art Prince also gets out of the race very early as well.
So there. Yes, it's an awful feeling. There you can see back at the first fence again. In the yellow colours there, it's Tour Duff Express and Robert Thornton just taking a hold here. They're all taking good pull. Trevor Hemming's colours in front skew.
Yes, and also just behind there with the last fling. That's Papillon there towards the middle, just the other side of the last fling, who's coming to jump it now. The chestnut horse, he's up, just jumps across Sparky Gale it was, in fact. That's Papillon this side, the two Irish runners. You can see Ruby Walsh turning to have a chat to
Garrett Cotter on the inside of him. And they're going very close to the rail skew.
They are indeed, but it's usually the safest place down there. You don't get anybody to
right
be in
now.
front of you. That's Papillon was very clever at that ditch, wasn't he? He went in and popped short, and he's obviously getting the hang of these fences very early.
Yep, Addington Boy is close up on the end. Look at that ditch. It's from where we're looking, you can see Call It a Day just going through. That was Bobby Joe landing a little bit steep. Sunny Bay on the inside. And already loose horses who'd fallen still deciding to go and jump round behind the field.
Last of all there, bringing up the rear, was Celtic Giants.
Yeah, well, let's go with the leaders now. Here we have Tour Duff Express, Robert Thornton having his fourth ride in the race. On the outside is 19 there. Mick Fitzgerald on his Esprit de Cotte having a good ride, landing very, very steep indeed, Skew.
Yes, no, we've lost more horses there.
Choice D, Earth Mover fell, those two went there. Dark Stranger actually went at the third. We didn't see him at the time. So let's keep up with them now. Up front, you can see Star Traveller, ears pricked, not a big horse. Richard Johnson on board, just pulling back, just settling back. The horse is plenty free enough, and he got in slightly close there.
Yes, as you say, when you pull them back like that, they just get onto their forehand a little bit, brush the top, but there is a Red Marauder just nodding again at that fence. He's not really getting on with the fences, and you can see why he fell at the beach.
Look at this, Trevor Hemmings two there. Esprit de Cotte, nearest to us the red cap, last fling in behind us. We go to Beechers. The one we lose here is in fact Red Marauder. Richard Guest, he's not in the picture at the moment. Merry People is on the inside. Look at the left of the picture of the leaders. Esprit de Cotte, Little Star Traveller nearest to us. Tour Duff Express back in fourth.
Papillon, he's really loving it, isn't he? Sees the fence as well. Here's Red Marauder coming over towards the back in a second.
In the middle of the fence.
Down in the red there, and as I said, he landed very steep at the fence before. Well, you can't do that at Beechers.
Let's have a look. This fence on an angle there, but a very big jump from the inside there from last year's fall, and Merry People and Garrett Cotter having a superb ride. Oh, Sunny Bay popping round the inside. Stormy Passage now popping. Kendall Cavalier and a few loose horses. Of course, was Becher's Brook going on to the smallest fence. The ones we lost at the first, though, Trinitro, Miko's Dream, Royal Pradika, Art Prince, and Signor El Bertruti. Here we come into the smallest fence on the course.
Yes, as the Foynaven fence, as you know, it causes a few problems in the past because it just looks tricky after the Beechers, but they all sail over it safely. The others we've lost already are Sparky Gale, Dark Stranger, one of the favourites has gone, Choice has fallen, Earth Mover's fallen, and we saw Red Marauder go at Beechers.
Now they pull out and then cut across the angle here, and a huge jump from Little Star Traveller up front. Runs a little bit wide. There is Esprit de Cotte and Mick Fitzgerald take the inner route here. There, again, you can see on the inside, old Sunny Bay popping round. Very, very shortly, Kendall Cavalier there. We are going to lose young Kenny, but that's in a couple of fences time, and he's on the wide outside. Have a look from another angle.
Yes, they're all making sure that they cut the angle really well. Brendan Powell coming over on young Kenny now, but Brendan took this route when he won the National, so he's going on a tried and tested path. And there is my old runner at Camelot Knight coming over, and here is Celtic Giant, who
always struggling, Skew.
Safe but sure.
Yeah, always struggling for old Celtic Giant. Back up front. Now this is where the boys start to take a pull. They've got a clear view.
See Robert Thornton there turn violently left to get away from the loose horse so he doesn't interfere with him here. But he really seems to be enjoying himself, the horse in front there. But later on it just all comes too much for him. There's Papillon on the inside, still cantering very well. Addington Boy, what another... He's gone down in national history, 2/4 in this race.
Now let's go with the leaders then, because here, Little Star Traveller, who was to know at this stage that he wouldn't compete? He's not big, but he is jumping from fence to fence. Tour Duff Express reached for that, the green of the eventual winner. Just behind him, Brave Highlander, who has run so well in this race, yet again, 3rd year running.
Talking about the inside, there's Melly Moss. Norman Williamson's gone a real short trip down the inside there. Yes, here is Star Traveller in front, going to this fence. He's loving it. Look at his ears, just the intelligence of the little horse, seeing the stride, picking them out for Richard Johnson. A great thrill for Richard Johnson to go around there. There's Torridov Express and Richard Chocolate Thornton. He's, as I said, he'd won a race round, won the Hunter Chase round these fences, so he knows these fences well. Here is the big ditch again.
It is such a shame that this horse went lame in leading Star Traveller, because he had run so well.
Addington Boy, that's we're talking about him before we cut to Richard. He's him, Sunny Bay, Norman Williamson have gone right down the inner. Melly Moss, who's really taken a good hold. Norman trying to settle him, just get him off the bridle, just him to relax a little bit. There's
Trinitro still up there, who fell at the first. He's the loose horse.
He's jumping better now, but you'll see this dear little horse, Star Traveller, in front, loving every minute of it. Look how clever he is, he gets to the fence. There's Papillon in the green on the inside, Addington Boy just behind him. There's Melly Moss, still trying to be settled
now,
by...
there is Druid's Brook, and that one exiting, I'm afraid.
Yeah. That's down as an unseated rider, I'm afraid.
Afraid so, but it was an ejection, wasn't it? Now, Skew, they're coming up towards the Anchor Bridge crossing. Here, you're crossing the Melling Road for the 2nd time. You'll shortly turn left-handed towards the racecourse proper, and they know that in a couple of fences' time, it is the narrowest part of the course, and that's when loose horses can cause problems.
Yeah, it's the loose horses that cause problems. By now, you've got your horse jumping. You'll have a look around. You see what's left of the field. The jockeys will be beginning to assess their position in the race and trying to decide their tactics from now on. But you can see Papillon in the green in the middle, still loving it with his ears pricked, running away. Escorte Prix in the 2nd place there. Robert Thornton on Torridov Express.
Skew, we are about to lose Robert Thornton and Torduff. They go here, and so does the Gopher, who's a little far back at the moment. But Robert Thornton's up front. Look at the sheepskin noseband. He's relaxed. The horse is running very well for him.
There is Escada Fee, the 2nd colours or the other runner of Darren Mercer. There's Jeddah in the yellow, just as we thought. Surrey Dumas would creep round the outside, nice and settled, trying to creep into the race later. But there you can see the loose horses. They're the ones that are going to cause the hindrance in a minute. But Star Traveller cantering along in front there. There's Torridov Express, the yellow with the sheepskin noseband. This is the one we want to watch. Just a little bit of a drop to this fence. It catches them out, and the Gopher is further behind. But let's see what stride we see. Robert's gone in short, gone in and popped, and he just hasn't made enough effort, the little horse shortening there, and just turned over. And there you can see the Gopher going. I didn't study him going into the fence. I'm not quite sure where he turned
Pretty
over.
much a similar fall to Tour Duff Express. Well, they've gone on. We get Merry People unseating Garrett Cotter at the next fence. Merry People, who just dropped out of contention a little bit, and not quite the force he was last year.
There's Richard Johnson having to pull round the loose horse there, and it's made him make a mistake. when you're altering your horse going in, touching his mouth going into a fence, it affects their stride. There is Merry People unsuiting Jerry Cotter. It's a horrible feeling falling, but it's even worse unseating, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just look at these horses now as they're grouping. There's quite a group of them. On the right of the picture, the little grey Kendall Cavalier, absolutely running his heart out. He's coming into contention. But there are at least 15 horses here, Skew, where the riders will be thinking, I'm okay.
That's right, as you say. You'll be concentrating on this big ditch. Richard Johnson just looking for the big stride. The little horse shortened up nicely for it. Last fling, he jumps it really well just to the outside there. And now there's Camelot Light Night streaming over.
Take a look from another view, the chair view here. And big jumps needed. Lucky Town getting into the picture on the outside. And he's was a big each-way fancy.
Yes, and that's Tony Dobbin streaming over in last place now.
Huge crowd here watching as they go to the water. It always jumps very well, this water here at Aintree, but it does signal the end of the first circuit. You've survived, you play jockeys from here on in.
That's right, you've been assessing your position all the way from turning back onto the track. I don't think they're going a very sensible gallop now, haven't they? They got over that first circuit. You'll see even some of the sort of slower horses, the stayers, are coming right back onto the bridle now. And as you say, your hopes are beginning to get up as you turn down the back here. Look at Star Traveller stand off at that, jumps it really, really well.
And one we haven't mentioned that's got there in about fourth place is Hollyback Buck. Peter Niven riding for Tony Martin. Tony's first runner in the National, Niven's sixth ride. So the tail enders going in behind, but now great feeling here. Slightly eerie because you go into the second circuit, there are holes in some of the fences. You'll see jockeys standing by watching who'd fallen in the first circuit, but at least you know you're in with half a chance.
That's right on the inside when we get a decent picture. There is Papillon. He's still running away under Ruby Walsh. He's having there he is, he's 1, 2, just fourth on the inside there. And you can see from the position of Ruby's body, he's just trying to ease him back off the bridle. So you can say, come on, old man, we've got another circuit to go. You're really going well. Just relax. Come on, let's just keep going. But as I say, they're all streaming now towards this first fence.
And Skew, a horse that we probably maligned a fair bit, Escardafig, is back in 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place towards the outside. Just surprised us.
It does, as you said, very often this race really sort of inspires these horses to go and run well, because the other horse I was quite rude about was Mick Fitzgerald's mount, and Esprit de Corps. He's run a terrific race up there.
Certainly has. Now, the difference here is that they're going a sensible pace. The fizz has gone out of a lot of them. Papillon hits the front for the first time here. Ruby hanging on to him. He doesn't want to go on yet, but he's just sitting there in the green colours, got a loose horse on his inside. Esprit de Corps in the red hat. Star Traveller here. Just see how they stand off this.
That's right.
Jump in unison. Brave Highlander gets hit in mid-air by Last Fling.
And at the back there, you can just see at the corner of your picture, that is Listen to Timmy being pulled up.
Just take a look from a fence view. We don't have a cameraman there, but a lot of horses really stand off. There's Village King going. He was never really at the races.
No.
Have a look from the landing side where we lost 5 horses. 5 horses fell on the first circuit. And here as they land, you can see they've all jumped it so much better because the speed has gone out of them.
That's right. Now there's going on down to a plain fence, which is a pretty ordinary fence most of the time. There is Star Traveller still up. Brave Highlander, another horse that's go down as a national legend, run another great race around here. It's amazing how time and time again these horses come back and seem to run such great races around here.
Look at the little loose horse on the inside. Their ears pricked, loving several of them. Horses are herd animals. They enjoy jumping. They'd have stopped and gone to the stables if they didn't like it.
So there it is. The other horse, keep just looking back, he's about 6th or 7th place. Addington Boy, Adrian Maguire. Has anybody ever ridden better over these fences around here?
No.
Never left the inside.
But what about Stormy Norman? He's been creeping. There's the red hat, the black and white colours. Melly Moss hasn't run for a year. What a training performance by Charlie Edgerton. But Storming is creeping.
There he is jumping, yeah. And as you can see, like we watched him yesterday, this horse is pulling and he keeps just trying to ease him back and then giving the horse a little bit of rein to sort of get him off the bridle, not pulling him about all the time. As we said yesterday, they get onto their forehand there. Here we're coming down again to another fence, and you see Star Traveller just leaning onto that one side of the bit. He has that tendency to do that. Again, he shortens up really well. Peter Niven on Hollybank Buck on the outside there. What a terrific ride he's had. What do we lose?
And we've just lose Village King and Flaked Oats. Both go here, both from the same stable.
That's right. There's Kendall Cavalier just coming off the bridle now. There's J.P. McManus's horse in the middle, or Mrs. Norrie McManus's horse there.
Lucky Town.
Lucky Town running a terrific race on the outside. But all these people must be feeling really excited. But at the same time, although BECHER'S isn't the formidable obstacle it once was, it's still got a huge reputation. And you know when you see that hedge in a minute, you're coming to one of the most
last
famous
year's winner, Bobby Joe in the yellow sleeves. Watch him at BECHER'S. He doesn't fall, but he does jump on top of one of the falling horses here. Now, here's the hedge that signifies we're going into BECHER'S Brook. We've got Star Traveller, we've got Papillon in third. You just have a look now, we can't quite see, but the red hat is in sixth place. Esprit de Cotte falls here, and also Stormy Passage in the blue colours.
Yeah, and it's lovely to see Ruby Walsh from Papillon there riding. There's Esprit de Cotte gone.
And you can see from there that Bobby Joe nearly got knocked down. Look for his colours in the middle of the fence here, just behind Esprit de Cotte. Esprit de Cotte falls now. Bobby Joe is right behind him. And look at that. Carberry goes backwards, goes forward, stays on board.
Yeah, you can't recover from a hindrance like that in a race, can you?
Papillon nearest to us. Esprit de Cotte and the red cat just got in too close there. And Village King, Stormy Passage just behind him. The two greys, they love going around here. They can pop away forever. How fortunate to be young enough. Look at the grin on Richard Johnson's face there, on the leader, Star Traveller.
The grin or determination. There is Papillon still up, and look at his ears. I mean, I always say these horses, you can see the way they're thinking from their ears. Look, he's loving it. He said, look, I've mastered this. I love this. This is what I was born and bred for, and he's jumping from fence to fence. Absolutely adoring race. There's Hollybank Buck just beginning to come off the bridle now in the sheepskin noseband for Peter Niven, but what a terrific ride he's given him till this point.
And I think we lose Buck Rogers at this fence skew, but he isn't in contention.
Yeah, he was right out of the back was when he fell.
The canal turn here. There's Buck Rogers. Well, he was...
No, I was maligning somebody else and another horse.
Escarda gets in close and belts it, and there is Bobby Joe having been knocked back. But look at the leaders. Papillon on the inside, big jump. Star Travellers jump for fun.
Yeah, there's
Lucky Town.
There's your Buck Rogers going. Last fling just on the outside, and you see Escarda just managing to avoid him there.
But poor Bobby Joe, he'd been knocked out of the race at BECHER'S Brook. Stragglers starting to come through, like Celtic Giant and Kingdom of Shades. Go up front, you can see Ruby really pulling Papillon round. And at this stage now, as they look up with about 3/4 of a mile to go, you can see the stands for the second and last time. But whizzing through there is Norrie McManus's Lucky Town, a big each-way hope from Ireland, and at that stage you can see a terrible mistake by Star Traveller, and I wonder if that caused the injuries.
Yeah, he may have knocked himself and just caused himself to be pulled up in a minute. But look at Papillon. I mean, there's a man and horse really enjoying himself, isn't it? It's just a wonderful sight to see, jumping from fence to fence. Look at it, just can't wait. And Ruby, what a great ride he's giving this horse. He's kicked him into everything that he's seen, and as I say, just superb. There's Addington Boy, Adrian Maguire still right down the inner, Bobby Joe, Sunny Bay, all great horses.
And Escarda just behind him.
Going down.
But up front now, Star Traveller is just in fifth place. Look towards the outside. You can see now that he's pulling up now. He felt the horse going lame, and very, very quickly is able to extricate him from the race.
That's right. Good to see.
Well, he quickly reacted to that, but now where the action is up front, let's look. Papillon in the green, Lucky Town, Melly Moss in the red hat there, coming cruising, and he is certainly going well for Norman there. He hasn't committed him yet.
No,
coming up to them is Choisty, the loose horse, who's picked himself up, and Addington Boy over on the far side, running another super race.
Yeah, Addington Boy was hindered there by the loose horse, wasn't it? Adrian, again, what I said earlier, he had to touch the horse's mouth and running left-handed to get out of the way of the horse. the loose horse. And once you've done that, approaching a fence, you affect your stride, and you've had it. Look how well that Ruby Walsh is going. He can't believe it. He's looking around. He's not pressing the button to go for home too soon. He still wants a little bit of company. But look at him. He doesn't even know the way. Do you see him pointing? Do we go left-handed here? He looked as if...
It was nice of them to tell him, wasn't it?
Exactly.
If it had been you, you'd have said...
I said, no, you turn right here. But,
Skew, for the first time, we're seeing Nicky D coming on the premises. Look back to the fourth horse there, the grey and red, Nicky D and Robbie Supple. Brave Highlander in his outside, the winning colours of Aldeniti. So, therefore, a load of them coming in contention. We've also got Call It a Day breathing down the next, Hollybank Buck. And they're here. Ruby Walsh must be thinking, can I be going this well? But Storming Norman's going equally.
And Storming Norman is having to save on Melly Moss because he knows that it's his first run, but he's having to just chase him there to get a challenge in. But he just knows that if he can't use the horse too much, although Charlie Edison does a fantastic job in getting him to run as well as this first time, he's bound to improve from it again. But the
well, he is a horse that runs well fresh,
yeah.
you know. Just have a look.
Boy there, Adrian, again, he's doing the same, just saving. Nobody's asked for a serious effort yet. Brave Highlander on the blue outside. Look at Nicky D, you can see Robbie just sitting and kicking for a stride. Didn't come, but they just allowed him to run there. Great horsemanship. Then,
did you see him go to the buckle end of the reins there? Gave the horse every chance to recover himself. Lucky Town has spent force now, but still in sixth place, and has run a super race. Finishes eighth eventually. Just isn't quite lasting home.
No. Now, for the first time now, we heard Ruby talking about it. He saw how well Melly Moss was going. Look at the stride. Even I saw that then there, Ruby. Superb. And even what he's gained, he's got from going half a length down into the fence, he's come out 3/4 of the length up and going away. It's superb to see. But the old horse, as Ruby said, he's a real character, and he thinks when he goes to the front, he'll go and run away for a bit. Then we're halfway up the running, he doesn't know where the winning post is, and he says to himself, well, surely I've done enough by now. But just gives a chance for Norman Williamson and Melly Moss to battle back.
Well, they're coming across now to the elbow, the famed elbow. Papillon, who had been the gamble of the race here, going on. But it isn't all over, and this has changed results. All of a sudden, Melly Moss comes back into it.
That's right, yeah. And as I say, when Papillon sees him out of the corner of his eye, you'll see him accelerate again and answer Ruby's urgings. But I suppose this is the point of the race for the first time that Papillon didn't look like winning. But now, as he sees the horse, he really stretches his head down and battles all the way to the line.
Well, they both do. Someone has to be second, but that was a great run from the second as it was from the winner. They finished a little way clear. That finished. The result, of course, number 13, lucky for a lot of you in that gamble. 10-1, Papillon the winner. Melly Moss, number 31, was second at 25-1. Third was Nicky D from Peter Beaumont's yard, 25-1. And Brave Highlander, sixth last year and fourth this year at 50-1. Now, after that, Addington Boy finished in fifth place. Call It a Day, after that, was in sixth, running another good race. Last Fling was in seven. Lucky Town, who was up there for so long, finished in eighth place. Jeddah from France gave Thierry Duman a super ride to finish ninth. Hollybank Buck, who just didn't quite last home for Peter Niven, was 10. Bobby Joe, last year's winner, really knocked out of contention at Becher's Brook. Kendall Cavalier, the grey, finishing 12th. The other grey, Sunny Bay, second twice in this race, was 13th. 14, Old Camel Up Night, having his last race at the age of 14. Feels Like Gold was 15. 16, Kingdom of Shades. And last but not least, he always trailed them, was poor old Celtic Giant, but he got round. Now this is where your horses exit. The first fence, we lost Signor El Batruti, Miko's Dream, the big hope of the prison officers, Royal Predica, Trinitro from the Scandinavia, and Art Prince all went early on. Fence 2 was Sparky Gale. He looked well beforehand but didn't get very far. Dark Stranger, McCoy, yet again not getting round. Fence 4, Earth Mover and Choisty were the two that exited. Going down to Becher's Brook, Red Marauder was a faller there. Fence 10, then, Young Kenny fell on the outside, in contention, but just watching brief there. Druid's Brook unseated his rider, at fence 12. The next two, I'm afraid, Tordust Express and the Gopher, almost identical falls at that one. Merry People unseated Garrett Cotter. He won't enjoy watching that one tonight. It was a proper you are. Fence 16, the water jump. Listen, Timmy, who's had breathing problems in the past, obviously they've come back to haunt him, and he was pulled up. Tony Dobbin doing the right thing there. Fence 20, Village King and Flaked Oaks, both fell. They were thereabouts, but not up with the leaders. And then at Beecher's second time, Stormy Passage and Esprit de Cotte fell. Esprit de Cotte first to go, and it was there that Bobby Joe galloped right over the top of them. The Canal Turn, Buck Rogers went, and then on to fence 26, Star Traveller, pulled up, lame, but is okay. Escada Figue, he got to the very last fence, the 30th fence, and he exited there.